Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to another edition of Superkickin with Steven and Greg, your favorite two hosts right here on a good Sunday afternoon. Nice and sunny here in Indianapolis. Kind of the wrestling world was the talk of the town there this week, with getting the final official word on what big three events will be coming here. So Monday was a good day here, Greg, in Indy. I got to meet Gunther while we're waiting in line. We get the official word from Pat McAfee and Triple H. We'll have, three major events over the next 5 to 6 years. NXT, we'll also have that here. We'll have Raw and SmackDown. Just some good stuff happening. How's your week been, Greg?
Been busy, but good, man. Just absorbing all the content and life is life, but we're here for it. So
Yep.
Always a good thing.
So let's get started. We'll kind of give you the rundown. We'll get our usual WWE talk out of the way, and then we'll get right into Forbidden Door, all the 1,000 of matches that are scheduled for this evening. I think we got 4 pre-show 0-hour matches and about 10 or 11 main card matches. So plenty of predicting there. Names I'll probably butcher. And so it'll be a good old time for our predictions this week. Next week we'll have Money in the Bank and Heat Wave to predict. So we'll get a little reprieve from predicting after these 2 weeks. But always, like you said, content. Oh, excuse me. Is the name of the game. So this came down the pipeline. Donovan Dijak is officially back to himself. He is officially released. He's already showed up in Independent last night. I don't think 90-day clauses are a thing anymore, because if he was just released, he was already there last night, unless he's been on the sidelines all this time, Greg. But any thoughts on Dijak being let go, released, fired, whatever you want to call it, contract renewed? I guess it's interesting how they're doing it now. We're pretty much not hearing these names unless they come out and say it themselves. So I'm kind of surprised by that. It just kind of shows up that, hey, I'm released. So, but Dijak, a guy that, him and Keith Lee obviously killed the house a couple times in matches, Greg. Then he was part of Retribution. Then he went back, kind of reinvented himself. And I don't know. It still never latched on for me. Whatever he was trying to do with this whole, I don't know what I don't know if he knew what he was doing. But good luck on the indie scene. We'll see if AW takes him. I feel like he will maybe do the Drew McIntyre path. Go, kind of reinvigorate himself, and maybe in a few years they call him back. But any thoughts on Dijak being let go officially, Greg, by WWE?
Yeah, it's a bummer. For him anyway. I mean, for us as fans, it's like after those Keith Lee matches, this guy's the limit for him. Guy's an awesome athlete, and those matches, you can put him in the vault and roll him out anytime that you want to try to bring a new person into the wrestling world and go, you want to see a great wrestling match? Watch this. Because those matches were that good. And, we were drooling over the rematch, and they just, after Keith Lee, that's where he peaked. Everything went downhill from there. And is part of what you're saying is that he didn't know who he was, and the character reflects that. And when he gets on the mic and tries to say something, that reflects that. And yeah, he needs to go and figure out who he is, what's his purpose, because he could have been, a Batista style character. Same kind of size and shape, and that seriousness, the intensity. They figured out how to corral that the way Batista did. He could have had a similar path.
But Keith Lee kind of followed the same track, didn't they? They both, Keith Lee, I think his ceiling was higher. especially after he beat Adam Cole for both titles.
Right.
Fortunately, with Vince McMahon on the main roster, Keith Lee got, the shallow end. And now Keith Lee, now unfortunately, I don't know what, I keep going back. I don't know what's going on. He's pretty radio silent on whatever's going on, but I feel like Dijak kind of followed that same trajectory. Now, I think Dijak started to show something on NXT, but like you said, what was that character supposed to be? Was it a
Right.
vigilante? Was it a bounty, a bounty hunter type? Like, maybe he could have made some way, hey, I'm taking out people for people. Maybe he should get involved with the with Tony D'Angelo,
Right.
kind of being a mercenary for them, gun for hire, or something. So maybe Robert Stone, because that's the thing, like you look at back at Batista, he got lucky because he got Evolution to give him the leg in. So,
Mhm.
but I think Batista still would have taken off. It just was a quicker trek for him. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what Dijak does, I guess, because like I said, he's already shown up. Because I know the government put out the non-compete clause, and that's so I'm guessing that he was able to be free wherever he's going to go now.
Yeah, it's great for him. Let him keep making money. But yeah, he needs to figure out for himself who he is before we can buy it,
Yeah.
because um, we never really figured out, okay, who is he and what's he do? And he's just being a tough guy sitting in the dark wearing all your black, and there's no cause behind it.
Yeah.
If we don't know what your purpose is, what your mission is, instead of chanting corny lines about hard justice, then we're gonna be like, okay, now on to the next guy.
Hmm.
So he's got to figure that out while he's gone. I hope he does, because he's got a whole lot of talent, but it's just too canned of a character, and he needs to really build it before we
Yeah.
can buy it.
I could see TNA picking him up though. I think that'd be a good because they're really doing some good stuff down there. You got plenty of talent that knows what they're all about. Um, yeah, so it should be interesting to see if he ends up there or if he just, like I said, kind of just goes the independent scene and find himself and maybe I don't know. I didn't check his age, but you gotta think maybe in a few years maybe they see where he is at and if they want to bring him back. I kind of have a blank sheet because I didn't find much else that caught my eye, Greg. Was there anything maybe news wise that caught your eye? I know, like I said, it's now official. Indianapolis will be the home of Royal Rumble 2025, a WrestleMania, future WrestleMania, and a future SummerSlam. I'm guessing kind of a few years apart of each other, but that's huge for the city of Indianapolis to have all three of those. And it makes you wonder if, like, a city like New Orleans will go for that, or Dallas will try to go for that, or New York. These bigger cities, or Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
pretty cool for the Midwest here, and especially like I said for my hometown to get those three big events over the next 6-7 years. Was there anything else news wise that may have caught your eye that you'd like to bring up?
Um, no, not much in the rumor mill that I've seen this week. Um, but it is the Indianapolis news is huge.
Yeah,
I love that because, like I said, it's a short flight, and prospect of us doing shows sitting in the same room.
same
Excited
room.
about that,
Just
and
in case
maybe
people
even
don't know
going to
that
one of
we
these shows.
exist.
Oh yeah,
We are real people. So,
and actually
yeah, I've already
going to these shows, man. Imagine how that would be.
already got the pre-sale. Well, signed up to be notified of the pre-sale. It's like having an announcement of announcement, Greg, which is always what I hate.
Right.
But yeah, so we got on the pre-sale insider, as it's called. Hopefully, get some because I'm guessing probably in the next month or two there'll be the pre-sale for Royal Rumble. So I was hoping it'd be like the NBA All Star activities where they gave us Indiana residents a shot first at the tickets, but knowing
Yeah.
WWE and they want everybody to be involved, I don't know if it'll happen like that, but that would be pretty cool if we could somehow finagle that, but we'll see. So I'm hoping there might be some meet and greet stuff too. Like I said, I met Gunther on Monday. That was pretty nice. they give you the old spiel on the flyer. Hey, he'll only sign Wheatley vodka, and of course, everyone's bringing every little thing. And I was like, well, that's great. It would have been nice to. I guess I should have just brought something anyway. But it was
Well,
like one or two things per person, but still.
yeah, the kids can't bring a bottle of vodka, so
Yeah, that's true. So
gotta cater
they
to the
did have
kids.
free plastic cups they were giving out that said Wheatley vodka. So me and my brother were like, "Hey, can we have a cup?" And then we got the cup signed. So next time we'll get a real thing signed, but we'll see. So Raw, man, it had a lot going on, Greg. So Drew McIntyre, of course, kicked off the show. It was live here from Indianapolis. Pretty decent Raw to give us lots of moving parts, but we did kind of book in with pretty big stuff at the beginning and end. And Bo Dallas came on TV, as Bo Dallas. So that's going to be very interesting how they play up the Uncle Howdy character and how they play up the Bo Dallas character. But let's start first with Drew McIntyre sporting the bracelet that says Larry and AJ, Greg. Man, it is crazy. I don't think it could be said enough how well this feud has been booked without even really, they've touched each other, yes, but we haven't had the match yet. So I can only imagine the tension, as they say, with the knife. I'm sure Michael Cole will use that phrase when they finally do touch. I mean, it's looking more like SummerSlam. But man, that is going to be, and if I were it, I'd probably kick off the night with it, Greg, at SummerSlam. So there was a little Larry chant. It's always hard to know how TV picks up, but there was a chant for CM Punk's dog. Probably one of the few times a dog has been chanted. I think Pharaoh's got chants before, Greg. Cody Rhodes' dog, and now Larry gets the chants. But yeah, what did you think about that opening segment with Drew McIntyre sporting the bracelet of CM Punk?
Yeah, it was awesome. And did it last week, did it again this week. Shout out to Drew because he has been killing it with this character, this recent heel turn.
Yeah.
And, like I said, it started with a happy accident with Punk getting injured and then Drew coming out and switching over from the, the Scottish warrior coming out with the sword and placating
You
the
wanted
fans.
that sword gone a long time ago, Greg. So
Yes, I
I know
did.
you're happy the sword is gone.
So happy the sword is gone. And, comes out and delivers a hot promo, shows
Yeah.
off the bracelet, and, just sticking it to him. I mean, he's playing Punk's game now, the mind games.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a layer to him that we haven't seen in a long time. It's just,
Never.
Hulk smash all this time. And it doesn't matter if he was a heel or babyface, but now he's showing some layers and showing I can play the psychological game now too. And, it's just a little like Ream Pop style bracelet, but, it's got Larry and AJ on it. And, the sentimental value is oozing out the screen.
Yeah.
And we're putting ourselves in Punk's place. And like, if he's sitting at home and he's watching this, he's going to be ready to throw something at the TV. And this has just been the best Drew we've seen in a long time because now he's playing the mental game as well as the physical game. And it's made everything 10 times better.
Yeah.
So love this segment. And it's just making us salivate for that when they finally have their match. It's going to be all the fireflies, bro.
Ludwig Kaiser. Talk about building up your stock, Greg. Ludwig's starting to really show himself, isn't he?
He is. He is. I'm liking Ludwig more and more each week as his character gets progressed. We get to see what he can do independent of Imperium.
Yeah.
And they've already got rid of Vinci, but he's still associated with Gunther, so he has the cred of, being Gunther's running buddy. But he's been able to show out on a singles level and, stand up with, some studs and show how good he is. So I've been more and more impressed with him the more I see him, and he's putting himself solidly into the scene in this title championship chase.
Yeah.
So
Because he's not going to win it, but he's still up in his game by even showing that he can match our level. And I
absolutely.
think that's why the Money in the Bank IC title match will be very interesting. Like, will Ludwig and Sheamus get involved? And then maybe we'll just have a fatal four-way at SummerSlam. And maybe that's from Breaker's coming out party. Like I've said, Greg, I would love to put him straight up on him now. But you got to wonder, with the other two ancillary pieces, maybe we might not get the full out clean match that we think we'll get. So,
Yeah, but Ludwig showed himself to be a cerebral villain.
Yeah. Okay.
And not just the cowardly villain or the sneaky
That's all
villain.
He was before.
He's beating you by outthinking you.
Yeah.
And so that's been impressive because not everybody can do that. And he's pulling it off greatly.
And he's not like this huge, gigantic guy, but that kick really does. It's almost like the punt back in the day, and he does against the steel steps. So we are really seeing a different side. Oh, Big Ben is going to want us to really be on this time. So Big Ben next Saturday. Look for us on Saturday with Money in the Bank happening on Saturday and Heatwave happening on Sunday. But we will get to that when we get to that. So. Big Ben, we are happy to have you in the chat. So, Lyra Valkyria, not a big surprise, Greg. She's in the Money in the Bank qualifier. I think it just made most. I mean, I guess you could have maybe done Kyrie. Then you have the EO Kyrie kind of, dilemma there, who's going to get what. But Lyra, it didn't really surprise me that Lyra got the win out of those three ladies. Did it for you?
No, I mean, once you see the match, she's like, it's going to be Lyra. She's, despite her her recent loss, she's still getting pushed to the moon, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to happen in this Zelina Vega. I guess first off, Greg, Zelina probably outdid Liv on the mic, didn't she?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Zelina got a lot over on Liv. Do you think we're going to get like a mixed tag team match at SummerSlam? Would it be too rushed to do it at Money in the Bank? Because we're getting singles matches on Monday night. We're getting Zelina and Liv for the title, and then I think we're getting Dom and Ray one-on-one again on Monday night.
Yeah, then in that case, I think it's definitely going to be a mixed tag because it's just a matter of when was their championship match going to happen, because Zelina has shoehorned herself into the next woman up slot. So it was all depending on when that was going to happen. So if it's going to happen now, then we're going to get our mixed tag at Money in the Bank probably.
Yeah, and then because I mean, I guess if you don't think Rhea is ready, then maybe you do the mixed tag at SummerSlam and just put all the pieces there and just kind of let it all blow up there. But I'll be interested. It looks like we're getting that way though. So even though Liv Morgan did make her name or her face shown at the end of the night as well, Greg. So it was not the last we saw of Liv. Very curious to see which direction we're actually going to get out of that. But Chad Gable, I don't think it's a surprise that he got the call over, Braun and Bronson. Bronson, I think, would have been fun to see in the ladder match, just kind of see what he would have done there, Greg. But this is all about Chad Gable. And then we saw Nikki Cross come out and, spook him. So Nikki Cross got to play herself up on Monday night. But Chad Gable gets the win. Don't think he's my dark horse to win the Money in the Bank, but it'll be kind of interesting to see what shenanigans will be involved with him in there, with Uncle Howdy, with Nikki Cross, with Joe Gacy, with Dexter Loomis. There's going to be he's going to have a lot of barriers to overcome if he does want that Money in the Bank briefcase. But what do you think about all the shenanigans happening with him and Nikki Cross, Greg? We did see her deliver a VHS, which, if you don't know, goes into VCR.
Yeah, it was a throwback to the Saw movies. To me, being a horror movie aficionado,
Yeah.
um, that's how the Saw movies goes. You go and um, the detectives come to the crime scene after the fact, of course, and then they find a VHS tape
Yeah.
and it says "Play Me" on it, and now it's going to tell you, okay, you missed this one. Here's what the next one's going to be. Pretty much telling them what's going to happen. So I like the throwback to that era, um, and with the VHS, because we're going back in time where you have to find a VHS. So some of the millennials watching may not even know what he was holding. So I like that part of it. And as far as Gable goes, it's interesting. I like what they're doing with him. Keeping him in the spotlight. We're breaking off the Afro Academy and maybe creating a new academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then his character is still so hot despite the change of houses
Mm-hmm.
that he's being put still in the spotlight, being the target of the Wyatt Six.
Mm-hmm.
So they
And
know they have a money guy right here, and they're still keeping him at the forefront because he's still so hot right now.
and not winning. I mean, he came up short. He's come up short in the IC title. What they said 5 times now. So it's pretty amazing to think that he's still over. Big Ben did have a good question in the chat. What do you guys think of Uncle Howdy? He doesn't like it necessarily with Wyatt being gone. We can get into that. I thought the Bo Dallas thing, like, I will tell you, being there live, Greg, I mean, you could hear a pin drop. Like, once it was revealed it was Bo Dallas talking, like the back and forth. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like eerily quiet because I think we wanted to hear exactly what he was saying. And I mean, he said everything. And people brought up it'd be awesome. I know it's like retreading the wheel, but I think you almost need to do something like this for each character of the Wyatt family now, or the Wyatt Six. Like, you have Joe Gacy and his character talking back to back. Why is he this? The pig or husky. Why is
Mm-hmm.
Sister Abigail in line with Nikki Cross? So I could not believe. I mean, like I said, it was eerily quiet when that was on the Titan, and that's tough to do with a promo like that, Greg.
Yeah.
Usually there's a little talk. Like, I mean, I literally thought you did not hear a peep in the arena when that was going on. What did you think on your end?
No, absolutely. I'm the same way. It's like nothing moves, and I'm not moving until I see this from start to finish.
Yeah.
And like you said, once you saw that was Bo Dallas in the chair across from him, because they started with just a tight shot on Uncle Howdy and him doing the talking, him doing the prodding,
Mm-hmm.
and then 30 seconds into it, then we see who he's talking to.
Yep.
That like, oh, okay. Because there's so many elements that we didn't get to see before. We know that off-screen Bray and Bo Dallas are brothers in real life,
Yeah.
but we never saw Bo Dallas while Bray was
We only
was
saw him as
wrestling.
Uncle Howdy.
Right. We unless he was in costume, we didn't know about it. That
Yeah.
nobody said his name, nobody mentioned their relationship,
Yep.
and we knew, you know, off camera that they're brothers, but they never acknowledged it. And now they've acknowledged it, and he's had a chance to speak, with no mask on,
Mm-hmm.
and just all the feelings, talking about his brother. And
Yep.
we all love Bray. And it's that specter of Bray that's will stay in the arena every time that we have any inkling that the Wyatt Six is going to be around, that is going to be covering Bo now, and we're going to give that credibility to him.
Yeah.
And now we want to see and hear everything he has to say.
Yep.
So his brother's death has done more for him than he probably could ever do for himself, which is sad to say.
Yeah, that's the that's the kicker there. Like
Yeah. So
you he's talented, or else they wouldn't have even tried to do the Uncle Howdy stuff with him.
right.
But this kicks it up a layer. But like I said, I think having, or maybe you have Uncle Howdy in that same role, and he interviews Nikki Cross and has Joe Gacy sitting across from him, and has Dexter Loomis. Maybe we finally get Dexter peeling the onion of his character, because that's much needed. So
Right.
I'm going to be very interested to see what they do going forward to give us that behind the curtain of why they are who they are.
And just think that when we did see Bo Dallas in the ring as a character, he was the lamest,
Yeah.
most. It,
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it at all. I mean, I get what they were thinking, but I think it didn't go over at all. The Bo leave stuff. It was just goofy and corny, and if anybody bought it, that I didn't know who it was.
Mm.
And now you're going from that to this.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to transition from that to this, the last thing we saw Bo do on camera
Yeah.
to this now, which is 180 degrees in the 100 in the other direction, and going from being super cringy and goofy
Mhm.
to the heel stable that we're drooling over,
Yeah.
then you better add some context to it. And
Yeah.
it's genius that they're doing it this way.
Yeah. Going kind of back, we did Alba Fire and Heel of Dawn, defeat Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Um, Damage Control came out and kind of laid waste to everybody, if I remember right. Or was that
Yep.
yeah, so it looks like we're going to get a little bit of everybody in the title match there. What about the stakes? The gentleman's agreement for Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. So obviously Seth Rollins has the easy out because he can lose and he can't challenge if Damian's not champion, which I brought up. Do you maybe use the Money in the Bank that night to somehow give Seth the title back, and maybe we do Seth and Gunther? But now Damian Priest's stakes, that's the interesting one. He loses as he's out of Damage Control. I mean, sorry, Judgment Day. Maybe he'll be in Damage Control. Maybe they need a dude. But no, he is out of Judgment Day. So very, I think we needed something like that, Greg. Kind of give it a little more meat on the bone, as you like to say. And that definitely gave us some meat on the bone with adding. So Damian Priest loses. He's out of Damage. Oh my God. Judgment Day. Just talk. I'm gonna take a drink.
I like it. I added some stakes to it. It's always more fun when they add some meat on the bone.
Yeah.
And it just goes beyond being a
Copyright.
regular match, because those stipulations are always lingering in your brain the whole match.
Mhm.
So we always figured that Priest was going to end up out of the Judgment Day eventually anyway, but
Yeah.
it was going to be more of the Judgment Day kicking him out
Mhm.
and replacing him. This throws a swerve into that thought that now, instead of him being thrown out, that he's going to have to, to be forced to leave in a different way. I mean,
Mhm.
Seth beating him is going to cause him to have to leave. So it's a wrinkle I didn't see coming.
Mhm.
I like the possible direction it could take, because do any of us think that he's actually going to beat Seth? No, unless the Judgment Day gets involved. So as far as I know, there's no stipulation that says the Judgment Day can't are barred from ringside or whatnot. So even if they were, they find some way to sneak their way in.
Mhm.
Um, and then Seth loses, he can't challenge my Priest is champion. And I think we've given him, maybe 2 more months max with the title before he loses it anyway. So,
Mhm.
um, like you said, Seth has the easier out, because I don't think Damien is going to be one of those guys who's held the title for a year, you know, and has a big long streak there. So I give him 2 more months tops before somebody beats him for it. So I like it. And once Seth wins, which was where I'm leaning, that him and the Judgment Day breaking up is going to take the forefront, and we're going to watch the whole building crumble as far as the Judgment Day goes.
Speaking of beating champions, Karrion Kross now has defeated 7 world champions, Greg. Because that's why I didn't know why he was holding up the number 7. It'll be interesting if they finally bring that into a storyline. Because guess what? They could finally do something for Karrion Kross, which is what we've said all along. But very interesting. I did not know, because I saw him holding up the 7, and I was like, what does that even mean? Because I was like, usually they have 13 or, whatever, 12 or 10. But yeah, Roman numeral stuff on him. But yeah, so 7 world champions beaten by Karrion Kross since he's kind of arrived on the main stage. And it'll be nice if they finally make that into something and give him something with that. But any kind of thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, just because everything that Kross has done has failed. So, he was the beast in NXT, and then when he came up to the main roster, and I think that was still during the Vince era, that they just lost all his direction, and nothing he did
mattered.
Look good, or the matches were subpar, and him doing the thing with Scarlett wasn't getting over. The big entrance that he had in NXT that they carried over, it didn't go over well. So everything he's done has failed so far. So maybe by putting this on him, that he's beaten 7 world champions, give him that credibility, and try to finally launch his character into something legitimate that we can get behind. But
we'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll definitely see.
So we have new tag team champions. So I guess when this match it never came out that it was going to be the main event, Greg. But once it was the main event, I guess you knew shenanigans would have to happen. Congratulations, JD McDonough. First title, which if you would have told me when he first arrived on the main roster, Greg, and with the way he was kind of just being thrown around, I would have never predicted he would have won any titles. But Finn Balor, I think, helped him along and spoke up for him. And I think he really did show, I think eating all that crow, as they say. I mean, look at Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had to go through a match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, Greg. So if anybody can,
there you go.
Anybody can eat some crow, they get rewarded. And Finn Balor now, the big kicker is, so we saw Liv Morgan coming out of the room, and then all of a sudden Finn Balor was there by himself. So now we've seen that up. We've seen that he's had the room key. Do we think Finn is playing Liv Morgan? Could they go that route? Or is this all about Liv being aligned with JD and Finn all along, and they've been playing, Damian Priest and Dominic for fools, and we're going to splinter Judgment Day anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think Liv is definitely the Yoko Ono in this scenario, and she's been working with the rest of the Judgment Day members to
help Finn, and
on the low, and keeping Damien out the loop.
Yeah,
and everybody else except for Damien is in. Even Dominic, even though he's not saying it, his actions are saying otherwise.
Yeah,
and you feel that everybody else is cool with it. To steal a Carlito's catchphrase.
Yeah.
And this is the most glaring evidence that we've had of it so far. She talked R-Truth and convinced him to put the titles up. Sweet talking R-Truth, and R-Truth, gotta love him. And so she got them the match. She was the one who was the uh, biggest reason they won the actual match.
Yeah.
So, she's done more for them than Rhea's done uh, in a long time. So it's all of what have you done for me lately kind of thing. And
Yeah.
now this is a feather in her cap that when Rhea eventually pops back up, that everybody else is going to be looking around like, well, so it's just added more layers to the onion for Rhea when she gets back, and it's going to keep Judgment Day relevant, even though most likely Priest isn't going to be a part of it anymore, and Dominic's going to be sitting there looking at both of them, going, who do I choose or whatnot. So there's going to be so many storylines developing already.
And I guess if
So
you did the whole, they're all playing live just so Rhea could get her title back, that's even a bigger way to go. Like,
right,
they're all in on the joke on live, and maybe that turns live into a bigger baby face or turns her into a baby face because it's a bunch of sympathy for her getting played by all the members, just to kind of get screwed over. But because
Mhm.
she thinks she's in control.
Right,
But, they're all just playing along with it because of Rhea. So there's a couple different directions I think you could still go with this. So I guess we should
absolutely.
mention The Miz was on commentary due to Pat McAfee losing his father-in-law. There was an emergency that happened right after the actual show of McAfee's show where he had to rush to the hospital, meet his wife, and the father-in-law did pass away pretty unexpectedly. So
Yeah.
at first, I thought maybe they were going to play because they've been playing up the Wyatt Six messing on McAfee's show. So I was like, oh man, maybe they're really going to pull the trigger on it tonight because McAfee wasn't on there, and being in the arena, Greg, you don't really know. Sometimes it's hard, to keep track of things that are going on outside. So, um, our condolences to McAfee and his wife and their
Absolutely.
family right now. Um, I'm guessing he'll be back Monday. Kind of give a week off and but yes, I followed his wife's Instagram a couple times, and it was very unexpected. I guess the father-in-law had been sick, maybe like on a Friday, and went to the hospital, emergency room type stuff, and then by Monday he passed away. So very sudden and very tragic. I don't think he wasn't sick like that sick or anything, but had issues here and there. But so hopefully McAfee's back with his show on Monday. I think he was already back on TV on ESPN the next day,
Mhm.
or maybe Wednesday ish. Just kind of giving the lowdown. So I'm guessing he'll be back on Monday as far as Raw is concerned. So
Yeah.
um,
No, shout out to, you know, McAfee and family.
yeah,
Um, Also, want to shout out for my guy R Truth. I love R Truth so much, and it made me so happy to see him hold a legitimate title
yeah.
and not just a 24/7 7-Eleven I-95 South,
Hmm.
and a guy at the Vita title.
Hmm.
Seeing him hold the world championship, it made my heart so full because
Yeah,
R Truth is just the man, and whenever he's on the screen, he's that guy that we stop what we're doing and we listen because he's always going to give it to us, and he's always amazing. And for a 50-year-old man, I mean, I swear he hasn't changed a day since he was in TNA
yeah.
as Ron the Truth Killings.
Hmm.
So wanted to shout out our Truth because you know him getting recognized and actually getting to carry the World Tag Team Championships and represent like that. That made me so happy. And we already talked about Luvic, but shout out to Luvic because I just found out 2 weeks ago that he and Tiffany Stratton are a thing.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
He's kind of living his best life.
good on you, bro. Good on you
Yeah.
pulling that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It I think we got in the wrong business, Craig, because man, you can definitely find a potential mate when you're
No
running
kidding.
around, 24/7 on the road with people. So because man, how many we would need a bigger tree than the bloodline if we really want to do all the couples, right?
No
And
kidding.
so I mean, I heard CM Punk back in the day got a few different women. So if the rumor mill is smoking, then end up with AJ Lee, like shoot,
Yeah.
you, yeah. So Yes. And like
Tiffany
I said,
Stratton is definitely real. I saw a newscast in Minnesota where she's from. You
yeah,
know, local girl makes it big, and they had an actual newscast on her,
yeah,
and they talked about her and her rise and interviewed her family, and that she found love there, and
yeah.
she was talking about him. So I was like, wow, okay, did not see that coming with those
I mean, we
two.
had
But
Braun and Cora Jade there for a little bit. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, it's, I mean, Johnny Gargano and his wife, Candace, they met through the wrestling ranks. So, very interesting. Yeah. And like I said, in what, 10 to 15 years, we could have a bunch of wrestling babies.
yeah,
Like, that's going to be, I mean, like I was joking, like if the Rock's daughter, Ava, has a kid, that would be like a sixth generation.
no
the,
kidding.
our,
Yeah,
our bloodline. And he has younger kids. Like, I think she's 22 or 23. And then he still has like under 6 year old twin or no, Roman has some younger kids, but I'm pretty sure The Rock has like a 5 or 6 year old, so he could still have another, up and coming. But
hey,
it is
all they
very
do is procreate, bro. There's gonna be
that's
they're
Samoa,
gonna be here to the end of time.
those Samoa genes, yeah, they will be past us. So, um, speaking of Ava Rain, she was busy. Uh, good segue there. Ava was busy on NXT. Uh, I know I don't usually talk about ring gear, what you're wearing, Greg, but I was very surprised she had an Austin 316 day shirt on. That was just a random. Maybe they didn't, maybe the laundry was dirty or something, but she came out in that one. I forgot where it was, but I kept looking at her shirt. I was like, oh, that's like a Austin 316 day shirt. That's the most random. But hey, it's all about the little things. So maybe that's
Right?
playing up something. But Chase U is going to be the number one contenders, Greg. Not, I guess the bigger story is Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Looks like we're going to get them on the outs again soon, Greg.
Yeah.
Just because looks like Nathan Frazier is all about himself. We've already seen them go one on one, so we don't really need to see them go one on one again, do we?
No, no. I mean, we got the point that they had their series of matches, and then they realized,
Yeah,
hey, we should be good. We'll be good together.
and that's
So
yeah,
we don't
that's
need
like
to see that again,
I mean I
unless there's some beef behind it. You know,
yeah
one of them is going to be the clear heel, and one's going to be the baby. So
yeah
um, unless there's some heat behind it, some smoke behind it, no, we don't want that.
yeah
Um, and the fact that okay, you want to do your singles thing, so go do your singles thing, and I'm gonna do my thing. So
yeah
you could just do something like that and be done with it. Because I don't think we're buying in on a Frazier and Axiom rivalry.
yeah. I mean unless you do because they've made small hints at Axiom really being a character beyond the mask. So maybe you do you got to have some stipulation that, hey, you got a mask or I got to go do something else. But that's the only way I think it really works out with them doing one more match against each other after they lose the tag team titles because it looks like that's where we're heading.
There you
Um,
go, career versus mask, maybe.
yeah, yeah. And then that bump, maybe Nathan Frazier's bumping up because he's done some NXT or he's done some WWE speed matches. So maybe they're ready to call him up already. But
Mhm.
Wesley defeated Joe Coffey. So we are going to get Wesley and Oba Femi. The Heritage Cup match is pretty decent. I really feel like I haven't sat down much to watch those. Sometimes I kind of am in and out. But this one, like you said, the format, you just got to get used to it. And yeah, Tony D'Angelo keeps rolling. Any thoughts on kind of those couple matches, Greg?
No, they were good. They were good. I mean, I didn't love them, but
Yeah,
the Heritage Cup is a whole different animal as far as the format goes.
yeah,
So it was fine for what it was.
yeah,
Uh, you know, I would never end the show with it for sure, but it's a good, you know, it's a decent match. But um, so you keep on with D'Angelo and him showing off, his skills. I'm fine with that.
yeah, yeah. Roxanne won. Her and Lola Vice. Now this time Lola Vice hit the backhand on her. So that kind of gives them moving. Tavion Heights is now part of the crew with Charlie Dempsey, who I believe showed up at NXT last night, is what I think I was seeing, or either on Thursday night. So it does look like we're getting a little bit of back and forth now between NXT and TNA happening. Damon Kemp is not happy with this. He's the one on the outs. Makes you wonder if he's legit out the door, Greg, because I've just never seen much of Damon Kemp to really get me excited. Have you?
No, I mean, he took the L to allow Tavion to get in.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of his initiation to get into the group, and that they would all stay a 4-piece. But,
we'll see.
Nothing I've seen out of Damon Kemp has been impressive. So, he's another Dijak situation. Needs to flesh out a character and sell us on it.
Sol Ruka defeated Ariana Grace. I really like to see Ariana get the win. I feel like, we still haven't given her a good win yet, Greg. But Sol Ruka will get the North American title shot against Kaylani Jordan. So I feel like we'll get a lot of flippity in that match, won't we?
Yeah, I'm with you. I wanted Ariana to win. Not because, Sol's my girl, but
yeah.
I wanted more build up for Sol getting her first title shot.
Yeah.
And Ariana finding some way to cheat to get a win and be another, feather in the cap for Kaylani, on her way up and build up to a match with Sol and keep building them individually, just running separate paths. I would have liked that better. So I think it's too soon. That's the only reason I would have subscribed to Sol taking an L. Yeah. But apparently they want to do it now. And
I think we'll get a good match out of them, though. But
yeah, I'm not optimistic about this being a banger of a match.
No,
I still hope Sol wins, but then that means Kaylani was the champion for less than a month.
Yeah, if that.
So way to set the bar there, but we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a side of it that we're not seeing, and it'll make it good.
Yeah. And then Sean Spears defeated Trick Williams. So now we're going to get the Fatal 4-Way. I think we all saw coming. That should be very interesting to see. I've been calling along. I'm ready for Ethan Page. I know he just got there, Greg. But I think if you really want to put your push behind him, he's got to win that title sooner rather than later and make him really seem like a huge deal and just this egotistical deal. So it'll be Javion Evans, Trick Williams, the champion, Sean Spears down in there, and of course Ethan Page. So you're good with the Fatal 4-Way, right? Because I think we talked that up last week.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Get them all in there, and that way we're not getting another rehash of Ego versus Trick, and you get to add these extra elements in there and make it better, because we've seen the one-on-one, but let's see what he can do with the advantage of having two other guys in there to vulture a championship win off of.
Yeah, he could pin somebody else, and then he could still do a rematch if you wanted to with, roles reversed or title reversed. So, SmackDown. Man, Paul freaking Heyman, Greg. And we need to say, 58 years old, lives up to looking like, he does not know what to do anymore. He's unshaven, his eyes are heavy, and then takes a freaking power bomb through a table after getting Jacob Fatu headbutting him. Man, Paul Heyman, ridiculous. There's nothing more to say. So I will let you speak on that segment. Every time I think, okay, the bloodline's running a little bit low on steam, and they give you a little bit of gas, give you a little bit of lighter fluid, because I don't think it was necessarily flaming out yet, Greg, but I think we're like, it's kind of that, you're going up and down the roller coaster. And this was definitely down the roller coaster because, man, this just set up everything. And
Mhm.
still to think we're building up Roman Reigns as a freaking baby face. Like,
Right.
is he going to be a bigger baby face than Cody coming back, Greg?
Holy crap, dude.
I mean, should we be worried about that?
No, no, because this was, as strange as it sounds to say, it's probably the plan all along.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody go from heel to babyface without even being on the screen.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And, after seeing Solo create this band of savages and how they've dominated, that people would be craving Roman Reigns, knowing all he's done the last 3 years,
Yeah. I mean, and
is,
we want Roman chance in Madison Square Garden. Like last year, you
yeah,
would have thought that would have been, unheard of, or even, even 3 months, before SummerSlam. Like if we run this show a week before SummerSlam, we're getting Roman booed out of the building, and now we are chanting for Roman to come back and lay waste to all Bloodline members.
right. So, and he hasn't even had to be there. That blows my mind because I was thinking about that watching this and over the last few weeks here, and we
Yeah,
want Roman chants that it means one Solo and his faction are getting over so big
that is
that
yes.
we are ready to see them take a beat down for once.
Mhm.
And we know that the ones to do it is going to be Roman. And we were booing him out the building and hating everything he was doing all the way up to WrestleMania.
Mhm.
So it's just genius storytelling. It's genius behind the scenes and putting these pieces together, having these guys ready to go with Tongaloa
Mhm.
um,
Now Jacob.
and now Jacob. I mean, geez, a true band of savages that they've created. So I love it. And Paul, just
and
go,
this
just the go.
and this is full circle because Roman had announced Solo as the heir apparent in Madison Square Garden last year. People brought up with
Oh,
the
good point. Okay,
the necklace, or whatever we want to call it, the
yeah,
necklace. I guess the beat. They look like chili peppers to me still, but anyways.
they do too.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, I
they
always think
totally
of that
do.
one, but anyway, I don't. I'm sure it's some sort of flower in Samoan heritage. Maybe it is peppers, but anyways, people have brought up Madison Square Garden last year because that was the one where Jimmy and Jay were in the background, and Jimmy, remember, was ready for his name to be announced,
Yeah, yeah.
and he had that look like, really, you're going to announce Solo? So, what a freaking long-term storytelling! Who would have ever imagined it would hit like it did? But
Right. And the perfect thing was that with this kills the last vestige of Roman with Solo's band
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
There's no reason now because Paul Heyman's taken out. He
right,
has to come back for vengeance to help Paul.
Paul was still the emissary of Roman, even
Yeah,
though he is standing next to Solo. And every time we saw Paul, we think Roman.
yeah.
And this segment was perfect because once he had to acknowledge Solo as the tribal chief, and that pushed Paul over the edge, like absolutely not.
Mhm.
And that pop when he did that,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's the way to go to be the hero before you get killed.
Mhm.
And now you're a martyr.
Mhm.
Except this, and now you're gonna come back. Most martyrs don't come back, and you're gonna come back with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So by wiping him out, that kills the last vision of anything Roman related
Mhm.
of what Solo's
And
group. So
this is why we had to do Solo and Cody at SummerSlam, so Roman can come back. Now, I guess it'll be interesting to see how do you play up Cody and Roman. Do you have them shake hands? Do you just have Cody out of the ring so he doesn't have to engage with that? So that'll
mhm.
be, and even if they have Paul Heyman like walking down with Rome, like he's out first and brings out Roman, to destroy Solo, that's going to be the pop beyond pop. There's not a roof on the Cleveland Stadium, Greg. So that pop will be loud, probably heard in Akron, Ohio. I don't know. Anyways, Toledo, Ohio. So, yeah, that's going to be huge to see when that happens and what happens there. So, Tiffany Stratton, speaking of Ludwig, yep, she picked up a win. Uh, really kind of interesting that Jade is starting to have to eat. She wasn't in the pin, Greg, but Jade is starting to kind of, get down. We're building Jade down, like we're knock her down a couple pegs, only to build her back up. So
Yeah.
we're going to get Jade and Bianca going against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, since that was kind of involved. What about the pairing? So Naya's kind of doing a roundabout pairing with Tiffany, which a lot of their Instagram, I've noticed they've been chummy. So that might be why they're being paired up on screen. Do you like the idea of Tiffany and Naya being paired up together in a way, Greg?
Yeah, because this is going to help Tiffany lean even further into her heel character.
Yeah.
Her and Naya joined a Bad Girls Club, and I would be surprised if they bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
So we may end up with another faction, but even if it's not, those two working together, because there's no chance of Naya going babyface.
Yeah.
So she's bringing Tiffany down the road and making her, an even bigger heel, and she's all about herself anyway. And
I was gonna say if Nia wins the title, then you could have Tiffany totally using her just to get closer to that title.
Right.
Also, Cody Rhodes kind of started big fight with the Bloodline. We're going to get Cody Rhodes. So it sounds like Jacob Fatu cannot wrestle in Canada or any international because he has criminal record that forbids that. So that should be interesting when they do international stuff, if he'll ever, if that ever comes off the record. But so it will be Tama and Tonga, and then Solo versus Cody, Randy, and Kevin. Very interested to see which direction they go. I feel like you probably need to give a win to Solo if you want to build him up in a contendership. So that should be interesting there. The NYPD had to come out, Greg, because security guards weren't enough. So, and I think people also brought up when Cody was saying, "Hey, I should be defending this title." Randy gave a little look like, "Yeah, you should be," in the background. So
really?
We're playing that up a little bit, that Cody and Randy could be coming down the road. A beefier Randy Orton, if you didn't know. I guess he was announced as 275. He's like, "I've been eating." There's some Instagram of him saying, "I'm like 290," he said. So interesting there that, little stuff there. But you know what I want to get into, Greg? Tyrese freaking Halliburton in Madison Square Garden getting booed to the point that they had to go black because I think there was an F the Pacers chant, and there was some fingers being sent to Tyrese. Now, what's funny, Greg, is I know you don't totally know Tyrese Halliburton, but there's no way he's a heel. I mean, this guy is. I mean, it sounds like everybody loves him in the NBA. This isn't quite Dennis Rodman hooking up with Hogan and Karl Malone hooking up with, Diamond Dallas Page. Because I think legit a lot of people in the NBA love Tyrese. Like now in Madison Square Garden, they do not love him because, the Pacers won.
Of course.
And Tyrese kind of played into that. So it is interesting that Halliburton is being linked with Logan Paul. And, then you got LA Knight being Jalen Brunson. I almost feel like it should be reversed because to me, Jalen Brunson totally seems like a heel guy. Like he seems like he wants to play into that. So very interesting kind of switcheroo. The Tyrese 316 shirt on sale in WWE shop right now, Greg, in case you want it. My brother, my mom did buy it Monday night, so they got that shirt. 317, Tyrese 317 shirt. But yeah, what do you think? So LA Knight gets the win, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Logan Paul costing that briefcase that Money in the Bank.
Yep, I agree. It's unfortunately that's the way I see it too. Yeah. But I love seeing the LA Knight get the win in this match. It included Jake Paul and him getting some little payback.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those two are going to keep costing each other opportunities.
Yeah.
Until they finally get to have their big one-on-one, which right now is all the signs to SummerSlam.
Do you think we put Halliburton and Brunson in the corners of SummerSlam?
No, I think this was just an
A
MSG
one-off?
thing.
Yeah.
A one-off, yeah. And Tyrese, if you're going to be a heel, you can't be smiling the whole time.
That's
So
that's what I'm saying.
just
Like
heel
Tyrese does not
one-on-one.
have Tyrese does not have a heel persona.
Right.
You know, like LeBron James back when he went to the Heat, he embraced the dark side. And man, if they would have had, some big heel, that would have been huge back then. With
Yeah.
LeBron and Bosh and Dwayne Wade embracing the dark side. But Tyrese has a very well liked, personality. I mean, he's hardly ever not smiling, Greg. On the court, he's got the skip down. So yeah, it was very interesting to see. Kevin Durant, I feel like he could have played up the heel when he went to the Warriors.
Yeah, he never smiles. So.
He's got
when they're winning,
he's kind of sulky.
smiling.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a sulk to him. So
yeah,
but yeah, very interesting that Halliburton, was the heel in this kind of, like we said, probably just MSG one-off type deal. So
cute touch, but yeah, that's you do that, leave that there.
Yeah.
LA Knight and Logan Paul don't need any more
They don't.
side action to make it better, because you already have Logan and his prime homies that get involved with everything. So LA Knight's going to come out better doing it by himself, which he's been doing all the whole while anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he's not sharing that spotlight with anybody else when he finally does win him, pin him.
Yeah. So that's everything on the WWE side. We'll take our quick commercial break so we can get right into all the matches of Forbidden Door. And like I said, probably me butchering a lot of Asian names, as I did not practice my pronunciation guide before we got started. So that is okay. We'll get a quick commercial break, get some fresh water in me, and then we'll get going. So Forbidden Door will kick off tonight with some 0-hour matches. We got Mariah May and Saraya going at it, Greg. I'm going to go with Saraya. I think she needs to win more. Like I said, there's also the aspect that you have Mariah May, the winner of the Owen Hart tournament, though, to try to give her a title match. But I think Saraya needs it. If she loses, Greg, yeah, I even care less about her than I care now. So which direction will you be going?
Well, I am a Saraya girl from day one, day one-ish.
Yep.
So I am sticking with her. Do I hope that her contract is about up and she's going to go back to WWE? Absolutely. But I love seeing her in AEW too. I love seeing her at all. She's such a talent, and I think she's been underutilized in AEW. They gave her one good rivalry right when she came in, and that's been it. And then put into an afterthought of a click. So she's better than that, and she's earned more than that. So I'm going to be rooting for Saraya, even though I do love Mariah May. And Mariah May is going to be she's going to be around for a long time, and she's going to be more of a homegrown AEW girl. So she's got all the runway in the world. But I'd like to see Saraya take this one and put some respect on her name.
We got Willow Nightingale with a Japanese wrestler, and then we have Chris Statlander with a Japanese wrestler. I don't know why we're not just doing their singles match, Greg, on the main card for the Owen Hart tournament. I think the singles match is going to happen on Dynamite, so maybe that's why you want to give some Dynamite love. But I think Willow gets the win here, but Statlander will get the win moving forward in the tournament. Which direction will you be going?
Same. This Willow is still, she's not as hot as she was, but we still are in Willow's corner.
Yeah.
And we're building up to her and Statlander 1-on-1 that we haven't had yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to keep winning to get there. So and seeing them collide, with the trophy on the line, I think that's the best thing to do. And so I'm going to root for both of them to win because we want to see that collision happen.
Well, remember they're on the same side now.
Well, okay, at least the championship finals.
Yeah. So I guess, yeah. Mystico and Lucha Bros, I'm just going to call them to win against those three. Yoda, Hirumu, and Titan and Takahashi. You're going to go Lucha Bros? Okay. And
finally, Lucha Bros all the way, baby.
This one is, we got a couple of New Japan guys. You have Gabe Kidd, and you also have Ishii with Kyle Riley. Then you have Gabe Kidd with Roderick Strong. House of Black is in there. Private Party's in there. Which direction, Greg? Because I have no effing clue which direction to go with these guys.
Me either. My default should be House of Black, though. So
I'm going to go
I want House of Black to win everything.
So. I think Private Party needs something desperately. They've been eating crow with the House of Jericho or the House of Jericho, the Learning Tree stuff. So I'm going to go Private Party. And now we have the big matches. MJF versus how do you say Hechicero. I'm going MJF all the way. It's Long Island. He needs to win. And we're getting him and whoever come next month. So MJF all the way in this match.
Absolutely. MJF.
All right. Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. So this is a rematch of last year. So I'm going to call for Zack Sabre Jr. to get the win this time. And maybe we'll do another match next year.
Right. It would make sense. I mean, we haven't seen Zack Sabre Jr. very much.
Yeah.
But when we have seen him, he's been really good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back. It's like he and Bryan Danielson had that awesome match.
They had that was that at Forbidden Door?
I think it was, but isn't that the match?
It could have been Wrestle Tree.
Got injured.
Maybe it was Wrestle Tree. I can't remember. But Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre did wrestle.
Right. I'm pretty sure. Didn't Danielson get injured in that match?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
If I remember right.
But Orange Cassidy did beat Zack Sabre Jr. last year. Because a lot of people were surprised that Orange Cassidy would beat, a legit Graps guy.
Yeah, so I love Orange, but I'm going to go with you that we can't have all the AEW guys win all the matches. So
that's true.
I'll put my stake with Zack Sabre Jr. too.
Yep. We got a trios match: the Elite versus Tanahashi and the Acclaimed. The Moxley and Tanahashi went at it last year, I believe. So kind of a different match for him. I'm going the Elite all the way. until they're really ready. I think Blood and Guts is going to be interesting to see if we really want to put the Elite down there. But right now, I think the Elite keep stacking up wins, so I'm going to go the Elite here.
I'm curious about the story between Tanahashi and Okada.
Yeah.
Because they did put a little package together about how heated that rivalry is, so that could throw everything off balance. And even if Tanahashi pins Okada, then that's more on those two and not the Elite. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So just for that and introducing Tanahashi into the loop, hopefully on a more consistent basis, it could be a springboard for him.
Yeah.
And once we have the AEW revolt against the EVPs, that he could be a part of it as an offset for Okada, then I'm going to root for the acclaimed and Tanahashi to get the win, just to add that extra juice to whenever that revolt happens.
Yeah, the Blood and Guts match coming up July 16th, I think it is, or so. I'm going all the way in on Bryan Danielson. Just give him the damn Owen Hart Cup and let him challenge for the AEW title. You know what, Greg? I'm just going to put out there, let him win it and retire. Pull a Tom Brady, go out on top, because I think Bryan has earned that, and I would love to see him do that. So I'm going all in on Bryan Danielson all the way in the Owen Hart tournament. Him and Shingo, I guess this is he's doing the Cody Rhodes, crossing off, the paper list, and Shingo is the guy he had on the list, and he gets him. So it'll be interesting just to see, does Bryan do? I'm guessing he'll be done full time, but will he do some part time stuff? Kind of after he's done with everything. But I am all in on Bryan Danielson in this match.
Yep, agreed. I think this is going to be another one of those, old school wrestling showcases. So, give him the win.
Now on this graphic, they have a mystery man, and maybe I missed that part because I've been all in on Jack Perry getting the TNT title. But is that correct, Greg? There'll be a mystery man in this TNT ladder match.
Jarrett.
Okay. Which, has that happened yet?
No, they haven't told us who the mystery person is going to be.
That's weird. Okay. And it's happening tonight. So I wonder if Collision had the results of. Did Collision happen last night? Maybe.
If it did, I missed it because I was working late. But
the 29th. Okay, so Collision, Orange Cassidy, blah blah blah. Oh, because we did see the return possibly of Hangman Adam Page, which
that's
is
somebody
good.
I've been wondering about.
Yeah. Serena D picked up a win. Yeah. Well, either way, I'm all in on. I'm all in on Jack Perry getting the win.
Okay. Let's see. Who's he facing?
So we have. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You need to make this a little bit bigger. So we have. This is kind of the random collection. So we have Mark Briscoe, Takeshita, Leah Rush, and Dante Martin.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Jack Perry.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could take Jack and I'll give you the field.
No, still not feeling.
Okay, you got I just think if you want him to solidify his status in the elite,
right,
you've got to have them with all the gold right now, and just like you said, totally running rampant. So, Tony Storm versus Mina. Now this is going to be interesting because you got Mariah May kind of caught in the middle. Do we see a title switch here?
No, I love the story with Mina and her relationship, unintended, with Mariah May.
Yeah.
And it's made juicy television. And even as fans seem to be into it, those segments are really good. But do I think she'll beat Toni Storm? No. I think there'd be some anxious moments in there. But we don't know how good Mina is, aside from a couple matches she's had, which there's nothing really special about him. But
Yeah.
But no, Tony retains.
Yep. Naito versus John Moxley, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Does Moxley lose it? Probably not. So I'm going I was going to go Tony Storm in the last match, and I will go Moxley with this one. Him and Naito should have a Naito. I always forget which way it's pronounced, but I think this is a match Moxley's won it for a little bit. So Moxley, not because there's not much New Japan, aura to this Forbidden Door. Now that we have Naito in there, but Moxley is all in on Moxley on this match.
Yeah, it's hard to vote against John Moxley.
Yeah,
unless you're a New Japan aficionado, though, it's like we don't know who Naito is.
Yeah.
Or have seen him wrestle, or know how good he is. I know in Japan, he's the man.
He's really solid.
He's one of the top dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was the champion before Moxley took it from Naito. So, he's that good.
Yeah.
And so I'm anxious to see, how good he is, what he does, and because that's what gets us to buy in on him. We've seen some Japanese talent come over and be awesome, and we've seen some that we're still waiting to see what they can do. I'm still there with Okada. I still don't see the magic with him yet.
Yeah.
So it's one of those deals. But as far as who's going to win the match, I'm hoping for a banger or even a bloodbath. Give me a bloodbath. I love those. But I'm going to see some fight out of Naito and not just a 5-minute win with John Moxley. So just because I don't know or seen Naito wrestle before, I'll say John Moxley.
I'm going all in on Mercedes. I think she wants to wrestle in other promotions, Greg. So her winning the what is that? Whatever the different championship. I can't. The font is not very good on this, so I couldn't see whatever championship that Stephanie Vaquer has. I think Mercedes wants to kind of travel the world legit and try to win championships everywhere. So I think this is all Mercedes Moné to win, and then maybe she loses it in a few months wherever the promotion is. So I will go all in on Mercedes Moné to win.
And that's the way I'm tempted to go, but just because with this being Forbidden Door, it's like you'd expect some of the talent from the other side to take wins, and we're only giving a win to so far one Japanese talent so far.
Yeah. Well, not even like Zack Sabre Jr. is not even Japanese.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. It makes me think that something's going to happen as far as the championship picture.
Yeah. I guess you could have maybe somebody gets involved and that screws it all up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is that to have all the Japanese titles in America doesn't help them in Japan. Even if they do go and fly over to Japan once a month or whatever and have a title defense. Yeah. So I'm going to go the other way, and I think because of shenanigans or whatever that Stephanie keeps the title
and gets TBS title because it's title for title.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that too.
That's why I'm like,
title
this is all Mercedes.
All right, I'm back to Mercedes.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I get it, but like, yeah. Now Swerve and Ospreay is only for the AEW World Championship, but Swerve is still winning. Right. And I think we see Hangman at the end of the night, like staring down Swerve, and we'll get one more whatever out of them. Maybe Hangman gets the title back to line himself back with, the Elite. But this is all Swerve.
Yeah, it is.
We're not putting the title on. We're not putting the AEW title on Will Ospreay, even though Will Ospreay has gotten over huge. He just got the the TNT title or the international title. So yeah, he's not getting the world title too, Greg.
I know, but I love Osprey so much. It's like the
I
guy
know.
is amazing,
Yeah.
and I would not hate it at all if he won.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just like I said last week, it's too soon. I want some
Yeah, there should have been some build up for this.
a huge buildup. It would deserve huge buildup over a couple months. Let him have a couple skirmishes, but then build up to the big match. I mean,
Yeah.
Swerve and Christian had more buildup than this did.
Mm-hmm.
So I think since we've seen Osprey on TV, we haven't seen him take an L yet.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate this to see him take an L here, but I think it's going to happen. So,
And this is a weird and then it's AW versus AEW. Like, yes, Osprey was in New Japan, Greg, but he's not now.
yeah,
I mean, maybe you could have switched Nato and Osprey and kind of done Moxley versus Osprey, just kind of play that up. But yeah, um, or Naito, sorry, I forget which way it goes. Yeah. Anyways, but I mean, it'll be a good banger of a match, I think. And like I said, I think my big swerve, bro, is Hangman coming back out. Now that we've already teased him coming back, kind of having the promo or the vignette had him like getting everything taken away, and they did play up Swerve going to his house anyway.
oh
So
really?
so yeah, I think we maybe get one more out of the one more squeeze out of the orange there, as they say.
Sure.
Um, so this is all last call, Greg. Anything for the good of the matter?
Absolutely. I want to shout out my dudes falling in reverse,
Okay.
as I did on our group page,
Yeah.
for having the #1 song in the country
Oh wow.
with All My Life featuring Jelly Roll.
Okay.
If you haven't listened to it, listen to it because it is a banger. And they blend rock and country
Yeah.
so seamlessly that it's just amazing. And listen to it, you'll see why it's the #1 song in the country. But the fact they managed to beat down all the little bubblegum pop and the boy bands and
Mm-hmm.
the singers, the Camilo Cabellos of the world, that makes my heart feel good. That my guys, a heavy metal band, can get to #1 still with all the nonsense that they call music these days. And shout
And
out
that
Jelly Roll. It's like don't know who he is aside from a country singer that people have been on this bandwagon for a while. But yeah, he represents in this song, and this song is crazy. So, shout out to my guys for making it to #1. And I got to give myself a little Barry Horowitz
okay.
because we were talking about last week. You remember me saying, uh, "Where's Britt Baker?"
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Um, and in the Forbidden Door press conference, Tony Khan was asked about Britt Baker,
Yeah.
and he said, "Soon,"
Soon.
repeatedly, and then
Okay.
once he even said, "Very soon."
Okay.
So
Maybe she comes out and messes things up for Mercedes.
very possibly. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to bring her back,
Bring her back
what
big.
better place to launch her than with the top girl?
Yep.
So the wizard speaks the name, and then they appear. I did it with MJF. Said, "Where's MJF?" And boom, next week there he is. Last week I said, "Where's Britt Baker?" Boom, Tony Khan. Very soon. Done it again.
Well,
That's what I do. That's why I'm the wizard. And I'm going to give you another name. I'm
okay.
just going to pull people out of
Natalia.
the ether because I'm the wizard. That's what I do. So, where is Nikita Lyons?
Yeah.
Been to
Rehabbing.
NXT.
Remember, she's
I want
rehabbing still.
right,
You
but
got hurt.
She's been gone for a long time.
There was a picture of her and Charlotte training together.
Ooh,
So
there
they're
you go.
rehabbing, and hopefully, I think it's about time, like you said, about time for them to come back, though.
I'm just saying. SummerSlam right around the corner. But and then we got an NXT show that's going to be that day before, probably
Day after.
So
It's on the Sunday. So we have Money in the Bank first, then Heat Wave will be on Sunday.
there we go. So
Yeah.
I want Nikita Lyons back, and says the Wizard, make it so. It's going to happen. Put the magic out there. Brought you MJF back, bring you Britt Baker back, and I'm bringing back Nikita Lyons. So I'm just, Wizard's got a wizard. So I gotta make it happen.
Well, if you really want to go full circle, Falling in Reverse, the main singer dates Saraya.
Yeah, I know.
and
that blew
she
my
was
mind
in the
when I saw
music
that, too.
video. Well, and there was somebody else in the music video that I was surprised. They said it was their first time being in it. Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, that music video had a few cameos from people. I guess Post Malone is going to do a country album too, so there must be something about country being big. With Beyonce doing the country album, and now Jelly Roll circling over with Falling in Reverse, because they're more of like a heavy, right? Like
Yeah, they're
screamo type. So yeah, interesting cross genres. Well, we got breaking news in the world of the Pacers, Greg. Obi Toppin, 4-year deal for $60 million to come back to the Pacers.
Okay.
We're running back. We're pretty much running back the team. I saw Paul George is declining his option. I thought maybe they might try to get some money together to sign him, but it doesn't look like that will happen. Then I thought maybe OG Anunoby. He signed with the Knicks because who else? Somebody else went to the Knicks. Didn't the Knicks make the big trade for somebody? Right?
They They got Mikal Bridges.
Yes. For
he's the former son.
Ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
Barry Laurie Markin is on the market there, but they're asking a lot for him. A real good 3-point shooter. But it sounds like my Pacers are going to just run it back. I heard Eric Gordon is declining his option, though, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that really matters because he was just on a veteran
minimum, he was very right? Minimum.
So, because they had mentioned him for the Pacers just because Indiana ties. I mean, that's pretty much why they mentioned him. But Obi Toppin coming back to my Pacers. So, yeah. And a 4-year deal, which is crazy because so now we'll have Siakam for 4 years. We'll have, Halliburton on the 4 or 5-year deal. I think Nemhard, that's going to be the next piece. I think we're going to re-sign him for, 3 or 4 years and really have this whole, key together. Expectations are going to be through the roof for my Pacers this coming next year to magically get to the Eastern Conference, and now you're bringing back the same pieces and give them a year to grow. So it's really going to be interesting to see what people expect out of them. Anything on your Suns in? Haven't really heard much.
I've heard a lot of trade talk about if they're ready to part ways with Kevin Durant, or if Kevin Durant's not happy.
Yeah.
But everybody in the front office says, no, we're going to run it back with the whole crew. It's unfair to disassemble it after 1 year. And so they want to give it another year with the new coach. We brought in Budenholzer.
Yep.
And it would be unfair to him to lure him in with the big three and then get rid of one of them. So I believe they're going to run it back. But of course, all the talking heads are going to throw their shenanigans on it and try to make it sound like they're trying to move away from KD. So, but from one devout Suns fan, it's not going to happen. We got the new coach in there, the new change of philosophy, and I'm going to bring in some more, project players to put around them because that's all the money they have right now.
Yeah, I was going to say There's probably not much money tied left to
No, there isn't.
Sign some decent, mid-level guys.
They did re-sign Royce O'Neal to
Okay.
a 4-year
Yeah, I
contract.
did. I
So
saw that.
you know who that is.
Yeah.
And he was a big piece to their success this past year. So they brought him on a 1-year contract, and now he's getting his money. So, but they needed to keep him because he's awesome on defense and can hold his own on the offensive side. So I like to see that they re-signed him.
Yeah. And then, like I said, next Saturday we'll be live for Money in the Bank, one of my favorite events. I guess it'll be interesting to see, do we end with the Money in the Bank match or do we end with Damian Priest and Seth because of what could unfold there? So we'll talk about that next week. We got Heat Wave. Obviously, that will end with the Fatal 4-Way, and we'll see which direction that goes. 4th of July week. Big plans for your 4th, Greg? Are you working?
Yep, I'll be working. Doesn't the 4th fall in the middle of the week this week?
On Thursday.
Thursday. So, yep, I'll be working, but hopefully the airport won't be busy.
Yeah,
because everybody's where they're supposed to be by Thursday.
Yeah.
But I think last year I saw the opposite of that. If people are still traveling on the 4th, so. But now we're talking West Coast versus East Coast, so we'll see if it's any different. But I'll be working, but maybe over the weekend, at least 4th weekend, we can get in some barbecue and some, 4th fare. So, that hot dog eating contest is still happening, Joey Chestnut or not. So I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, that one will be. I think his will be. Well, or at least it's a documentary or something. I think he's getting one on Netflix, right? Him and Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was a documentary or if it's gonna. I thought they said a live event, so I think Labor Day weekend they're doing their own hot dog eating contest.
Right.
The way I read that, so we're not getting the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight this month, which we were supposed to get. We'll get that in November, but I think Jake Paul's got another fight scheduled this month, or next month, July. So because that was going to be on Netflix as well, so that would be interesting to see that. But all right, well, we'll let you guys get going. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and tune in on Saturday. We'll figure out we'll just talk time when we can this week and kind of go from there. So thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.
Peace.